Hi, and welcome to Inside the Cage, the show that brings you through the ins and outs of the MMA world. My name is Danny Lopez, and I'm your host. Working alongside of me is going to be Joe Stevenson, covering the Q&A session, as well as Mike Phillips, who's bringing you the calendar section, giving you results and upcoming events. We got an exciting show for you. We're covering on this episode mitt work, as well as we're finally getting Joe Stevenson to do that Q&A session, which we promised you last week. Didn't get around to it, but we have him on this show. So stick around. We got an exciting show as we bring you back inside the cage.
Hello, I'm Mike Phillips, and I'm hosting the calendar section of Inside the Cage. A little background about myself is for the last 7 years I have written an MMA update column for our local newspaper. And of course, this next event I'm going to talk about is 7 guys on the fight card that I cover. So of course I'm going to have to give a shout out to them. The event is this Saturday, King of the Cage event in Las Vegas, Nevada at the Eastside Cannery. We'll be up there doing some pre and post fight interviews. Excited to go take a little road trip to Vegas. On that card representing Joe Stevenson Cobra Kai is Leo Aguirre, Adrian Barty, Jonathan Flores, Jonathan Noriega, and Ramon Jauregui. Also, we have 2 guys fighting from the Total Training Center in Apple Valley, California. We have Justin Hernandez and Jamie Coronada. I'm going to backtrack a little bit and talk about an event that I spoke of in the calendar section last episode. It was a submission championship event in Ontario, California. We have one of the fighters that fought in that is going to be in this episode later on. And he won. His name is Jason Glaza. And he won unanimous decision 29-28 by all 3 judges. On May 31st, we have Bama Bad Beat Night event held at the Commerce Casino in Commerce, California. And on June 1st, we have 3 events that I will be talking about. The first is King of the Cage held at the Edgewater Casino in Laughlin, Nevada. We have Coliseum Combat event held in Kokomo, Indiana. And we also have Spar Star Promotions event held at the Hollywood Park Casino in Inglewood, California. On June 6th, we have Fight Club OC, and it will be held in the hangar at the Orange County Fairgrounds in Costa Mesa, California. And on June 15th, in Winnipeg, Canada, we have UFC 161, Dan Henderson versus Rashad Evans. And on June 17th, at a KF1 MMA competition event held in Seoul, South Korea, we have one of the local guys that I cover for the paper. He trains at Joe Stevenson's Cobra Kai, and his name is Jason Walraven, fighting in that. I just want to give a shout out to him. He's going overseas, long plane trip. Wish him the best. On July 5th, we have another fighter that I covered for the paper making a road trip, plane trip, far away from here. His name is Joe Condon. He's going for the 160-pound title belt for King of the Cage. We wish him the best for that. Bring home the belt, Joe. On July 6th, we have UFC 162. The event will be held in Las Vegas. I like this one because there's one of my favorite fighters is fighting in this event, Cub Swanson. Been covering him for a long time. Just one of my favorite fighters. Nice guy. Wish him the best there. In fact, here's a picture of him with my son from 2006. And finally, we have a King of the Cage event, July 11th, and this event will be held at the San Manuel Casino in Highland, California. Thank you for tuning in for this episode. Again, any promoters, if you want your event on the Inside the Cage calendar, just email me at mike@highdesertmma.com.
Hi, welcome back. On today's show, we're going to be covering mitt work, and that's one of the areas where I work with a lot of the fighters. I do the stand-up coaching over at the Joe Stevenson's Cobra Kai gym, and I'm a real stickler when it comes to the mitt work. I like my fighters to throw their punches directly at their targets. Saying that is, I tell my opponents when they're inside the ring to always throw their punches directly at my face or at my body as you would in the actual fight. This business of catching out here is complete nonsense to me because nobody's head's in 2 different positions at one time. You get your fighters used to doing that. What you do is you get them to throw punches where they normally wouldn't throw punches. That's one of the reasons why I tell my fighters, you focus in on my face, you throw the punches in my face. If I don't catch it, it's on me. But I want you to do your job the correct way. So anyway, we're going to take you over to the ring as we show you a little bit of mitt work. And there you have it, mitt work. Right now I'm going to swing over to Joe Stevenson as he's going to take 2 of your questions that were posted to us, and he's going to answer those as we take you back into the gym. Welcome back to Inside the Cage, the show that brings you through the ins and outs of the MMA world. As I promised on the last episode, we didn't get around to it because Joe's schedule and my schedule just didn't click at that time. But today we're having Joe Stevenson, who's going to be doing the Q&A session of Inside the Cage, the section that we called Just Ask Joe. And he's going to be showing us a technique of how we go from, how we get into half guard, and then from half guard, or
from side control and bottom, how we recover half guard, and then from half guard, how to recover to full guard. Real easy technique, guys. I'm here. He's got side control. It's on your knees, though. Okay. Sometimes the number one thing to do is always turning in. A lot of times, boom, boom, and trying to get the knee in and work. But sometimes they're tight to this hip, and you can't get that leg in. If that's the case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my outside leg to step and hook his leg. This leg is going to, the inside leg is going to go straight, and I'm going to turn on my side. Boom. Sometimes I can't just hook over, so I'll use my free arm, pulling the elbow to the mat, boom, and catch his foot. Once I catch his foot, so I don't get in the crucifix, I instantly shove down and hook it with my leg. Making sure my heel is all the way past his foot and turning my heel up is very important. Now I'm going to slide my leg back as I slide my bottom leg and knee up. From here, I can release or keep control and raise this hand up. Pummel my elbow down, boom. And I have my half guard. Simple, easy technique. Now, I prefer from my half guard, once I get into that position, I should be looking to stand up and get on my feet first and foremost. Recovering the guard is cool, but it's also just more time of him on top of me and him winning the round. So my first priority should be getting up, which would allow the space to do a submission or sweep. From my half guard, my hand goes to his knee. I'm going to bring my outside leg high. Now when I bring my knee to my chest, my foot posts on the mat. Once it's posted on the mat, I'm going to use that to help drive as I pull and shift that leg around, blocking his other arm. Now I've got my guard back. Alright guys, feel free to email and ask techniques and questions that you want, and we'll make sure we throw in another technique every week.
And there you have it for our very first Q&A session with Joe Stevenson, as promised. And now we're going to go on from this point on to give a shout out to Jason Glaza, who fought Friday night at the
Ontario Citizens Bank Arena on Saturday night.
Oh, that was Saturday night.
Weighed in Friday.
Okay, good. He weighed in Friday, he fought Saturday, and it was a unanimous decision. I'm going to let Joe do the interview with him, and I'm going to step out.
Alright, so here we go.
My name's Jason Glaza, and I weighed in for this fight at 252 pounds.
So, this being your first fight after a long time off, a lot of nerves, a lot of things can just be playing in your head? What did you do to help yourself?
Well, you know, first of all, after 7 years of not fighting, I knew that rust was an issue. It was almost like my first fight again. But, you know, I got a great team around me, the best coach. My coach just kept me focused on my training and getting ready for the fight instead of worrying about who I was fighting or anything like that. We had a game plan, and we just stuck to it the best we could.
The changing of opponent happens a lot. I mean, until you get into the bigger shows and championship fights, you really have one opponent for like 3 months of training. So it must have meant that your game plan shifted a little bit and often. What do you feel about your game plan was a little different than your game plan for your previous opponent, who was like 315 pounds and might be your next opponent?
Well, actually, you know, that's the funny thing, because prior to getting Nick Magdaham, the game plan was to take him down and do what we do, which is wrestle and ground and pound. And then the day of the weigh-ins, we got Nick Magdaham, who is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. You know, he took silver medalist at the Pan Ams. So obviously it was kind of a little bit different. And the training just kicked in. You know, we switched gears and we went from, okay, we're going to go take this guy down, to we're going to stand, we're going to put him against the cage. Once the fight started, I didn't feel like he was hurting me on the feet. And I felt like when I did put him against the cage that I was able to control him. So it really wasn't an issue. You know, there really wasn't any point during the fight where I felt like his stand-up was dominating mine. And when he shot for takedowns, I was able to sprawl and remain on top. So basically, I mean, yeah, it was a shift, but the training and the work that we do here at Cobra Kai had me prepared to fight pretty much anywhere the fight went.
So what was that feeling when you heard your name and your hand went up? Was it just like a felt of like relief?
It was, you know, I was confident that I had won the fight, but like you said, when I heard the scores, there was a little doubt crept in for a second, and I was elated. You know, I've carried around my loss for 7 years. You know, I turned pro, fought once, and then didn't fight again for 7 years, and it's been eating at me. And against an opponent like Nick, who's experienced, he was a tough guy. He was there in the fight the whole time, bringing it. It was an amazing feeling. You know, I was very grateful. I was very grateful to be there. I was grateful for my coaches, my family that's kind of dealt with me through being gone through the camp, and I was just amazingly grateful for the opportunity to get in there and do it, and to win on top of it was just amazing.
Well, you guys, you have it there right from the mouth of Jason Glaza. Great fight. It was awesome. Both of the fighters fought their heart out. Remember, when you're coming in for the Q&A questions and you're asking something, everyone's body style is different. From Seth's to Jason's, it's a dramatic difference. Make sure you say for a heavyweight or for a lightweight or for a short stocky or something. That way we can look at and see what would work better for you. All right? Take care.
Real quick, Joe, I'd like to thank my few sponsors that I have. I want to thank the guys at the Graphic Lab for hooking up my shorts. The Urban Legend Chris Cully for giving me my fight shorts. Unbreakable Mouthpieces for making a mouthpiece.
Pete Nectar, the man.
Dude, that mouthpiece was awesome. I just want to wear it all day. And I think there was a PFN Boot Camp. Johnny Espinoza, my strength and conditioning coach, for helping to get me in shape. He did a great job. And of course, my coach, Joe Stevenson, the best
Danny's
coach in the
here
world.
too. So.
Coach Danny. You know, we're all a team, and we got a great team here.
I know as a reporter I'm supposed to stay neutral, but to be honest with you, I'm very proud of the guys over at the Joe Stevenson's Cobra Kai gym. I work with a lot of them on their stand-up. Joe works with them on the ground stuff. And so far this year, we're 9-0 as a gym, living up that reputation and the award that was given to us as MMA Gym of the Year. So I'm very excited, and kudos to you guys for your hard work. You guys have stepped up to the plate and knocked it completely out of the ballpark, and we're very proud of you. As always, we'd like to thank you for your involvement in the Q&A session. Again, if you have any questions that you want Joe answered, we want you to answer them to this, answer them. If you're going to answer them, then why are you asking them?